So you can make any picture sexy by adding curves to them. No lie. So when you look at the 3 channels, red, green, and blue, they control 2 channels or 2 colors respectively: reds and cyans, greens and magentas, blues and yellows. You'll see what I mean shortly. So when you click on red, right, you see this graph. Starting from the left side, it controls darkness. To the light side, it controls the lights. When you pull down on the graphs, or when you pull down on it, it takes out the reds, adding in cyans. And when you pull up on the graph, it adds in cyans and takes out reds. That's how this works. So in this picture, it's kind of reddish. So we're gonna pull down to add in some cyans. Next, we have the green channel. This controls greens and magentas. Pulling down on the graph takes out greens, adds in magentas. Pulling up on the graph adds in greens and takes out magentas. This picture is still kind of reddish, so we're gonna take out magentas by pulling up on the graph, particularly in the shadows or the left part of the graph. And to keep contrast, we wanna make sure that there's a little bit of magentas, so we're gonna pull down on the right side of the graph. This way it adds in a little bit of magentas into the highlights. Now we have the blue channel. This controls blues and yellows. Pulling up on the graph adds in blues, takes out yellows. Pulling down on the graph takes out blues, adds in yellows. So in this case, we want to add in yellow to the shadows because with green things and nature, it typically has a lot of yellows in it. So we're going to pull down on the left side of the graph in order to add some yellows to it. And then lastly, we're going to pull a little bit up on the right side of the graph to add some blues into the highlights to create contrast again. Here as a bonus channel, this is luminance. I'm not 100% sure what luminance does, so but what I can tell is that in the same way that we have light and dark in the midtones, it controls the contrast, it seems, in these parts respectively. In our case, we want to add in a little bit of contrast for the shadows, and then we want to add in just a little bit of contrast for the highlights. It seems to make it better, but someone can correct me on this, I guess.